All right, everybody. Today we are hiking the Beaver Ponds Trail. It is just a short 1-mile trail out here on Ohio Pass, western Colorado. Really, really beautiful aspen groves. Unfortunately, we're a little too early for the fall colors this year, but it's definitely a gorgeous spot either way. All right, everyone, so this was the Beaver Ponds Trail. Again, just a 1-mile hike, really easy, nice and short, great for getting your legs stretched out from a car ride if you're traveling through the area. Definitely recommend it, easy enough for all ages and abilities, so definitely check it out when you get the chance. And if you guys are curious, I do have a couple more minutes going on this video because I really want to talk to you guys about beavers. So if you haven't seen a lot of my other videos, you guys probably know, or maybe don't know, that I am obsessed with beavers. They and wolves are some of my favorite animals, so I'm actually going to talk about both of those here in just a moment. But this is a really great opportunity to talk about beavers and why they're so important. So unfortunately, Colorado's beaver population never really recovered from the back in the trapping days. So we do have a lot of beavers now, but it's still not nearly as close to where it was in the 1800s. So beavers are really great. A lot of people don't like them because they cut down trees. You can see in the background there's some trees that are cut down. However, they do create these big wetlands, which create a lot of open habitat for other species, namely moose. In Colorado, we do have Shiras moose. They are the smallest subspecies of moose, and they are an introduced species. They're actually not native here, but the Colorado Parks and Wildlife did start introducing them so that they would provide more opportunity for hunters. Beavers create great habitat for them. Moose really like wetlands. Now, they do okay here in Colorado, even without significant wetlands, but they really still like it. In fact, I've seen a lot of moose right here, not necessarily at this lake, but in the Kebler Pass area. So they're great and important for that. So the reason why I like to talk about beavers is because they are a keystone species. So because they create all these wetlands, they actually sustain habitats for many other species, not just moose, but fish, songbirds, amphibians. They all really depend on having them here. And kind of why I want to talk about wolves is because we don't have very many here in Colorado right now. In fact, there's only a single pack. They're the first pack that we've had in 80 years. And in 2023, they do plan to reintroduce some more into the area, specifically out here on the western slope. So I'm gonna walk a few feet away from this spot because there's something that I want to talk about in regards to wolves. I can already smell the reason why I'm coming over here. It's a very disgusting and pungent odor. So if you guys are squeamish, maybe you don't want to see the next part of this video. However, right over here, right there, is a dead cow. So we are in the West Elk wilderness area. Wilderness areas are not really a place that I like to think that there's a bunch of cows on, but the reality is that a lot of public lands, including wilderness areas, are used for grazing. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. However, the issue is these animals get scattered out, and when one of them dies for one reason or another, unfortunately it can cause carnivores to become habituated to domestic cattle. So what that means is, let's say this cow maybe died from some kind of illness, maybe broke a leg, who knows what happened. But essentially, let's say carnivores like coyotes or wolves would come in, scavenge the carcass, and then they learn that cattle are a food source. Now, overall, in the Northern Rockies, wolves are not really a big threat to livestock. You'll have a lot of pushback on that, but the fact is that even though they occasionally do take down cows and sheep, we lose 4 million cows in the US every year, and 3.8 million die from disease and weather. And when it comes to predators, wolves are at the bottom of the list. The only thing that kills less is bears, and that includes birds of prey. So this is numbers coming from the United States Department of Agriculture. It's not stuff I'm just making up. But unfortunately, we really need to try and get a curb on leaving carcasses out in the wilderness areas, especially here. I know a lot of our livestock producers are very concerned about the wolf reintroduction that will be taking place here in 2023. And so really we need to start healthy habits of cleaning up carcasses, whether that's burying them or removing them from the wilderness areas. So that can be very hard when a lot of producers will just simply let the cattle out for a couple months at a time and then come and try and round them up again at the end of the year. So the best thing is to keep range riders with the livestock. So that means actually being present with the herds. So it can be difficult. It is a lot of backbreaking work, and I understand that, and it might be difficult for a lot of producers to do, but it is a really great way to lead coexistence, because we want to keep our livestock safe and we want to keep our carnivores safe. So just kind of a interesting tidbit since we found this carcass.